Mm. Okay, good. Happy Monday, Cassie.
Happy Monday, Music Tip Monday. Woo.
A lot of tips today.
All the tips, just the
Oh,
tip though.
we should probably, yeah. Okay, anyway.
Sorry, you. My bad.
Just going to leave it at that. All right, cool. Hello, everybody. Here we are again. I know we missed last week. Somebody, I won't disclose why, but, we missed it.
I'm sorry I caught COVID. My bad, y'all.
That's no excuse. COVID is not that bad. People aren't
See?
like,
See how mean you are? It's not like everybody's catching it or anything.
No. I'm only saying that my house has been lucky yet. It's been, 2-3 years, whatever the case is, and we're still waiting for it to come through here. But as far as we know, maybe it was under the radar and we just totally missed it. But as far as we know, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, my kids did not catch it.
Oh, sweet.
So only I did. My kids stayed at grandma's and are still at grandma's at this point because I have not yet tested negative.
Ooh.
So they have not come home.
Thanks for being here.
Well, at least I'm no longer fever ridden, and those aches and pains are the worst. So if you have not gotten it, I do not wish it upon my worst enemy.
Oh yeah, well.
Keep hand sanitizing out there.
Unless you're worse than your worst enemy, then I might say, okay, it's good you have it. Not kidding.
Bro.
Never.
Hey, we love the 90s. How you doing, sweetheart? Welcome in. Music Tip Monday going on.
Hey.
If you guys aren't already following him, one of our ambassadors.
So that guy was partying this weekend. Caught his
I saw
video.
Those,
yeah, the 90s party. Good group outside.
They do give away free tickets to the 90s show during his stream, so
cool.
Keep an eye out for a stream, and you might if you live in Denmark.
Yeah, a little hard for us to travel from here, but it would be a
one
nice
day
trip someday. Yeah,
right.
That's right.
If you're going to Denmark, make it a trip. 90s party. Let's go.
I just have not left this country ever, so someday.
I mean, I've gone to Canada. Does that count?
That's a start.
That's leaving the country.
It is. It's crossing the hairline and visiting our hat, as we like to say. I don't know.
Alrighty.
Cool. Well,
so what you got for us today, Matt?
Today, yeah, some good stuff. I hope some good stuff. I don't know. Everyone's at a different place in their music career, and I think it's important to know when to hire like a manager, whether you're a DJ, producer, band, solo artist, whatever. It seems to be a really popular question. A lot of bands or a lot of artists I'll say artists because we're on this channel, but I'll say a lot of them like to get a little ahead of themselves. A lot of them right out of the starting gate, like I need a manager. I'm just starting out. Why do you need a manager? Actually, a quick Google this morning. I searched myself. Should I hire a band manager? And pretty much everyone's convincing you don't need one. Whether it's Spotify, disc makers, artist PR, music industry how-to, ASCAP, Music Radar, you name it, they're all like, stop it. Stop asking us about management. You're not ready for it. Manage
yourself first.
Yes. It's very important that you spend time knowing how all the things work in your music career, your business first, do them yourself. It's good to be your own freelancer, your own contractor, whatever the case might be.
Because then you'll also know what you're looking for when you get to that point,
Yes. Yeah.
And you'll know more about what they're doing in case they're, potentially not representing you right, because you know how to represent yourself.
Yes. And it's important too, because a lot of them are also like the most popular ones are inundated with requests like, can you be my manager? Will you be my manager? And most of them are going to turn you down because you're not at a certain point, and they have criteria to look for as well. I have a book here from a friend. She's also from the Wisconsin area, but now she is a band manager out of New York. She used to work with the Dresden Dolls, and she's been through a lot of other bands, but she's even got like a list of these are our criteria in her book. Mm-hmm. So they have a few qualities, and I like these because they they really should be kind of a, I won't say industry standard, but like a good vetting process from a humane standpoint. Like, it's just all human to human relationships, music or not, any industry or not, it's people to people. So you need to, it's important to be one of all three of these things. The first one is, does the manager love their art? It's important that the manager feel passionate about that maybe style of music. Maybe they only work with certain genres. So in this case, if you're a classic 90s guy, or if you're a trance guy, you're a psytrance guy, you're house guy, whatever the case may be, and not always guys, gals too.
You gotta
my
vibe
bad.
with your client.
Yes, you got to vibe with your client. You got to like, I love your tracks, and they're gonna actually put more energy behind it if they're passionate about it too. It's not just a paycheck; it's caring.
And that's with anything good sales wise, anyways. You can't back something unless you like something,
Yeah.
And people can hear that in the person's conviction when they're trying to sell it to them. Like,
I've tried other businesses before this, and it just was not. I'm like, I don't care about this. I mean, I do personally, but I can't care enough to sell it. So I'm not in the right spot. I mean,
that's the same thing I say about the mod industry that I work with over in Twitch is like, I can't represent everybody. I can't be in every chat because I don't vibe with every single person or every single genre, It's the same thing.
Yeah, just because someone's paying you doesn't mean that you're wholeheartedly into it. You mean it's got to vibe with you, and you could be bored, and it's like, okay, it's not the right fit. It's a client fit. It's just not like any other business to business transaction. It's got to be a good client fit.
100%.
Yeah. Their second quality, which I love this because there's a they go into this a little bit earlier, but like getting a manager for an athlete versus a musician, the excuse you, there's a preconceived notion where like art athletes don't have this problem, but musicians like have this idea of how a manager should be, and athletes don't. They're good at what they do, and they're easier to manage because they already know where they're supposed to be. Musicians actually come with a different like set of baggage, which is strange. And I say this because I'm a musician. I can say that, it's okay. Try to avoid this baggage because not everyone knows what a manager's supposed to do, and a manager has evolved over time. But their second quality, they don't want to work harder than the artist does. The artist isn't meant to just say, okay, I'm hiring you now, here's all my shit, and I'm just gonna sit back and wait for you to do stuff. No, you're just as responsible for your career, or more so than the manager. The manager is helping you. It's similar to what we do with 11, the career coaching. We're here to help you, but you are essentially in the CEO role. You are in the leadership seat, and this is your baby.
Right. We don't jump until you tell us how high to jump or what to jump for,
Yeah. That is one of the preconceived things. Like, when I get to a point where I can hire a manager or even get signed to a label, like all of a sudden all my workload is gone. Like, no, not really. No, you're still in charge of probably more. Because this is still your career. So
yeah.
Number 3 is probably the best one, because it does happen all way too often in the music industry. We don't work with assholes, no matter how good they are or how much they make.
I love that rule.
Talent and earnings do not make up for how much of a personality jerk you are. So be happy. Love your manager and the people you work with. It is all human to human. Again. Sorry, I just saw that. Yes, I have to get out of the United States. We love the 90s.
I was also looking at him like, oh.
What?
Is he still here? Is he listening?
I hope he is. So yeah, those were their 3 big ones. And I'm just like, okay, these I need to just have like painted on my wall because, whether, like I said, if I'm the artist, if I'm the manager, if I'm the record label, if I'm whoever in whatever role, these are just good for life general lessons, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
I know you don't like working with people that you work harder for, that you don't love their art, and you find them to be assholes. I mean,
those are pretty much 3 of my checks to no, I won't work with you.
Because
even in my moderation business, I get to decide who my clients are. You can't just tell me I'm going to be a client. There's a process of both of us getting to know each other.
But you should be privileged and excited to work with me because I'm doing music. That's the general consensus of the people
But
I'm sure
not
you.
right. But not everybody's music's good, or to
No,
the point of getting my bones a moving.
correct.
I only work with people that make me groove.
That's right. Um,
Like,
it's
but it's also different styles because mine is kind of expanded past just music. But yeah, it's the same thing with any client. If
I
I don't, if I can't have fun with you,
yes. I hate to say it. I mean, music strangely does come like going back to their points. Music does come with kind of an inflated, I won't say arrogance. Music does have an ego, depending on. I mean, a lot of people are getting better at being more humble, but
yeah,
generally speaking, over the course of the music's many decades, ego has been very easy to come with
yeah,
fame in the music industry, and that whole leveling of the internet, or the industry, being leveled by the internet, all of these things start to play in like the DIY stuff, and people want to help you still do your thing, but they're not going to still be, we're not going to come out of our bedroom here or our office at home and say, hey, we can do everything that Capitol does, Artista does, Jive does. We're not a major record label or a major, we're all, the business has flattened to where it's kind of standardized. It's like other industries now, and you have to really know how to work with people, because music is probably one of the strongest people to people. It's all who you know. Um,
hmm
so I could ramble on about that for hours, but I'm not going
right.
to. I think I got the gist of it. So.
Some good points there, though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Mhm. Hey,
Good.
and what was that book again that you said that you got those from?
Yes. So, this is wonderful. Oops, the camera. How to build a sustainable music career and collect all revenue streams. Friends of ours, Emily White over at Collective Entertainment in New York. She is from Milwaukee, so just not too far from where we are here in the Midwest. Where I am. Sorry, Cassie is not in the Midwest, but
I'm over on West Coast. Yeah,
she's super far away from me, so I won't catch anything from her right now. Anyway.
I'm sending it through the microphone right for you.
The smell of vision and COVID vision comes through. Yeah. So yeah, that book is one we recommend to everyone we work with. People with, whether we're coaching, whether they're signed to one of our labels as a service, our record label service programs. These are core elements to the industry today. Just because everything is now, like I said, flattened by the internet, and you can be in the same seat as Tiesto at this point because everyone's got access to the exact same tools. So,
And even with music career, it's not just people are they're looking for their moderators, which are a different style of management. That's an online live streaming management. You've got your social media that you're managing yourself as well. You've got the music production and getting it out, and all of the other, let me try and think of that, the digital distributor, getting in there with the music, and so many different layers of different things that you have to do. People think they need somebody for each one, which is not the case as well, right? You might not need that. You want to try and take on that yourself, and maybe having one person, but having it one person that can help you with as a partnership, even if they're your manager.
Yeah,
Don't think of them as a slave to do the dirty work, though.
Yeah, exactly. I like how she puts it here, because a lot of people just say, "Oh, I need a manager," but they don't know what the actual role is. What does it fulfill? And she is a band manager, so she's like, "What is exactly a manager?" So a manager sets short, according to the book, a manager sets short and long-term goals with the artist and assembles or inherits a team around the artist. And ensuring that the team is working hard and diligently toward those short-term and long-term goals. So really, you could do that yourself. The idea is that, what am I doing with my career? I'm setting my short-term, long-term goals as the artist, and then I'm going to go out and find virtual assistants. I'm going to go out and find a team, or hire in-house or remotely, or whatever the case is these days. Pre and post-COVID, it would have been the same. But honestly, some depending on where you're at, especially early on, band manager is a waste of money.
Yep.
I mean, if it's something you have to offload because you're more focused on your creative process, then that's probably later on. But keep it, like you said, keeping all of those artist services, the marketing, the sales, the business stuff, the whatever stuff is not directly tied to your creative process to create the music, um, could be handled by you for now. And then when you get to that point, and then it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the good things that you guys had the tip from the 11 Music Career article that will be released with our posts later today as well, was taking the time to like list everything and figure out, okay, is it because you are too busy with your job? Yeah, but your job is a full-time job that can help support pay for these extra things, and you are already financially stable, then yes, you might need someone to help you manage a little bit more earlier on. But that's
Yeah.
because you are already financially stable with your first career, and this is not necessarily your primary. But if your primary is your music and you are making that your 100, and that's still starting with your small profit but livable, where you might start switching to that being that career, it's not yet time.
Yeah.
Because you'll spend all your money on the manager and you'll have to go backwards instead of forward.
This ties into our business structure at 11, that teaching, which is something that doesn't come up much for artists, is talking about overhead. Like, I'm going to try to squeeze as much revenue out of things, but then you're going to turn around and spend it on a manager when now your profit margin is big. It's already,
Get back where you started.
you don't want to spend everything you make on a manager, and there's no, give and take on that. You want to make as much as you can, get as much as you can to make it livable, that's sustainable to your career. And when you only get to a point where it's say, okay, I have enough for a dedicated payroll for a band manager, but I'm not going to affect what I need to make to live sustainably and comfortably, then you're like, okay, this is a good time, because you may need to focus on something else, but you need to keep this moving as a business owner. The only other thing a business manager might bring to you, especially when you can afford it, is they may open up additional connections in the music industry. They may have a lot more of the networking in place already. It's like, when they jive with you, they may open a bunch of new doors. But until then, the doors you can open yourself are going to be, yes, limited, but what you need to get to that point, I think.
Yep. I agree with that. And there's so many ways to get those connections these days, even with watching people's live shows on Instagram lives, Twitch lives, YouTube lives, being around, because these artists are actually seeing who's in their live chats. They're identifying those people. And there's been so many now social media marketers that have been invited to come on to live shows with their favorite artists, because like they've enjoyed their content, or they've enjoyed what they've been doing, or that person has interacted with their social media. There's a lot more ease of a connection with artists these days that people used to be out of reach.
Yeah.
So
to that point,
it makes yourselves a lot easier.
Yeah, it makes me think of some of the bigger names that, like, even like whether we had known them prior to Twitch or not, like, these guys are huge, and they're showing up in chats because we're all at home in a pandemic. And now they have connections. They get to know some of these starting DJs, and then they're like, well, I have these people you can talk to, and all that stuff just kind of started to vibe even just in chat on Twitch. So yeah, I mean, it's staying true to your art, working harder than the people you hire, and not being an asshole, and being good at communicating and building those connections. You can do that all yourself. You're very capable of being your own manager.
100%.
I think it's smart that you try to be your manager for as long as possible, until it's like absolutely necessary that you're going to burn out. You've lost sleep. You're just dying under the weight of it. But luckily, you're making enough money to, support two people, one to take care of that load and one yourself. So.
100%. I agree. That's why even when people come to me with my mod work, they're like, well, I think I'll hire you soon. I'm like, okay, where are you on the status of your stream? Like, How many viewers do you have right now? Like, I help them address where they are, and I might rearrange it to, okay, you might just right now need me for a temporary bot work, and I'll
Mhm.
update your bot. I'll take care of it for the next little while. Or it might just be, hey, I can help you now. I think you'd be better off as a one-time Discord setup, or, helping them both learn how to, or one-on-one consultation for learning how to organize their social media for their niche, if they're still too early, because I understand even streamers themselves don't make much, so we're basing it off of where I'm helping them, or social media, or here.
Mhm.
I don't always let them like actually go, hey, I want to pay for you right like every month right away. Sometimes I start with those baby steps if they're still early in the game. If they're further on, then yes, it's okay. Now you might be ready to start doing this because your income flexibility on this versus this,
Yeah. And that's actually a really nice point to say that, like, all of us, as whether it's organized businesses or virtual contractors and freelancers and whatever the case is, no one's out to like take advantage of you as much as you might think. Like, having the trust to build those connections and say, okay, well, this person knows their business because, like what you just said, you're going to consider all angles. They're not just going to say, oh, I'm just going to take your money and run, or do this because you want it. It's doesn't make sense. Again, is it a fit? Is it going to financially drain you because you're getting a mod or a bot helper? I mean, it
Mhm.
actually, really, you could replace manager with any job title in an artist's team. And do you really need a social media person? Do you need an email marketer? Do you need a website developer? Do you need a mod? Do you need no? It's
No,
really
but
just,
right now you might need
yeah,
help with this.
yeah,
Like some of my streamers, sometimes I'm like, no, but I can help you with making your social media posters. Send me this and I can help turn it into this. So
yeah,
I can help you with an art project on the side that might be too hard for you, but that's about where you are at this point.
yeah.
You need those stepping stones. You're not ready to get here until your following gets to a certain point, even in general.
Agreed. Yeah.
So
And remember to find the right metrics for your following. I mean, whether it's like followers on Twitch versus followers on YouTube
Instagram
or
and
Instagram, which ones are monetized and which ones are not. Which ones are
yeah.
subscribers here, because YouTube subscribers are free, where Twitch followers are free, and there's it just depends on what levels, the wording that you,
TikTok,
yeah,
same
which
thing,
who's using what and who's paying, and yeah, where's your focus
Yep.
for those, so that you say, I have 1 million followers. Great. You have 2 subscribers. You can't afford this.
And
There.
when we're talking about all these different lives, because now all of them are their own source of revenue,
Mhm.
if you go live as a musician, um, a lot of people think they need to find someone separate to help manage each place.
Mhm.
Try not to do that, guys. Do your research. Find someone that is actually good on all of them to help you.
Yeah.
So find the right fit when it's that time. Because, yes, on social media, you do need moderators because unfortunately, you can get someone that you know, but to start. So start with people that are already in your circle, not strangers on the internet, but somebody that's going to support you that you know.
I think it's important that, like, when we're depending on what level you're at, if you're just starting out, if you're mid-level, if you're pro, to your point, you might be only in need of a jack of all trades, where someone can
Mhm.
kind of cover all the bases. You're paying one person to handle all that, and it's good light offload. But yeah, I mean, at some point you say, well, I have so many fans and so much work that I have to have dedicated team. Okay, that, and then you're getting to a much higher level. So it's kind of like starter, professional, enterprise, kind
Yeah.
of moving your way up that food chain. But most musicians in the realm that we're talking about are nowhere near enterprise. Ideally, you're able to kind of stay in that middle class level, but still comfortably
Yeah.
have the right people in place, even if it's one, just to
Yep.
keep you sane.
100%. But always try and start out with someone close, like to help you with some of those things if you really do need someone. Because I bet you anything, there's somebody that's there in your court, like that's backing you 100% that wouldn't mind, until you're to that point. that you can pay, and always show appreciation to those people.
Yeah, I've seen it more often than not. The moment people will climb and have a level head, but the moment it's like there's some kind of psychological snap where when you reach a certain level, and that's where maybe the humbleness fizzles and the ego takes over, and then your entire team leaves you because you've just become the asshole that this book references you shouldn't be. So always do a self-awareness check, I think, is important too. Just as you're on your way up, you got to still maintain the original reputation and your sense of self through the entire process. That could be difficult, especially if there are certain levels of fame and influencer you start to meet when you hit that fast track from, you might go up a little bit, plateau, and then you might go up again in the plateau. And then at some point you're going to probably hit that high road that just goes up for a while. That's probably where it's like, yeah, I need the help, but I also can't be a dick. So that's a heck of a juggling act, psychologically, but it's important to know.
Yep. 100%. I agree. What about you guys in the chat? Anybody out there have something to say?
Awfully quiet.
I think we love the 90s went to sleep.
Oh no.
Party too hardy.
You might need a party manager, not a band manager.
So,
yeah, just
had
moving on here.
I just lost my thought. Squirrel in chat. Oh,
it's all right. Chat. It's a good time to jump in because we're all scrolling at the moment and have to regroup.
I squirreled. I had a thought and then it left me. I'm sorry.
Show that. There we go. Put it up on the screen. Squirrely time.
Right. So just to summarize up so you guys can think of a list of things when you're seeking out a manager, or feeling like it's time to get somebody, whether it's a social media manager or a live stream manager or whatever it is. If you're trying to find one that's an all based on your choices at the time, those couple points that Matt said, I just wanted to do a quick pinpoint of them also so I can highlight later.
Go for it.
So the 3 points to consider were, are you just starting out? You probably aren't ready for a manager. Okay. And no matter on what platform or in general, if you're just starting, you probably aren't ready for a manager yet. You don't know how to do something that's important to your career. Learn it first before you outsource or delegate. Be sure you're understanding what's involved and why it might make sense for you to delegate it. And it's certainly easier to direct and even evaluate how well your manager is doing if you've had experience doing the managerial task yourself. So if you understand it firsthand, you have even become proficient at it, you will see the benefits of a good manager taking that task over.
And if I might, you can clip this out if you want. If you don't want, that's fine. But just in the event that you get to the point where you want or legitimately need a manager, remember that they're coming at it from three points. Do they love your art too? Are they invested? Are they a trance lover? Are they a 90s lover? Are they a rock lover? Whatever the case might be. They don't want to work harder than you do. You are still going to be in the driver's seat. They're here to help you, not become you. And 3, they won't work with assholes. Doesn't matter how talented you are and how much you make. You could be, I'm not going to mention them from the 90s or whatever, because there might be somebody who's like, I don't know who that is, but you might be Taylor Swift. But if you're a dick and you make all this money, it doesn't matter. You have to be not the asshole. So
100%. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was trying to make a clip.
Sure.
You didn't talk long enough.
Oh, sorry. I can do that again and you can clip it again. I thought I was going too long, so I was like, I better
Oh,
shut up now.
no, you're fine. I'm just trying to clip, so you didn't talk long enough to cover that I
Gotcha.
was taking the clips.
Well, I will do one more thing then as a recommended action before before we get done here. Maybe this will be beneficial to all of you, including the person standing next to me here. Is if you're listening and you're watching, you're like, okay, if I'm going to stop this, what am I going to do? Well, stop looking for a band manager and start taking inventory of your current workload. Focus on what you're doing right now, and the band manager search is probably not the best use of your time. But what we want you to do today is take a look at all the work that you have on your plate right now. Which of these tasks do you feel comfortable having someone else do for you, and is it important? How much time will you free up if you hire someone to do it for you? If you're not going to free up too much time, then you just need to work on rebalancing your schedule for the week, and make sure you're prioritizing the right things during the week or during the day. It's just so that you're not wasting time on other things. And I realize a lot of people might have full-time jobs to support their music habit. So it's important to, focus on the day job and then put your music into its bucket during the week. And if you're in a band or a group, not just a solo artist, can you delegate tasks to others in the group versus hiring someone? I mean, you're all in the band together. If you're going to have one point person and that person's working harder than the rest of the band, yeah, that might be what they love to do, but is there some stuff that you can offload? I know they might not do it as well as you, but you have to give them a chance to learn it and try. If they don't pick it up and put their own creative spin on it and make it their own and, share the uniqueness across the band, you're just kind of controlling the narrative yourself. So don't do that. Make sure that you can use the whole band before you need to hire outside of the band.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
Those are my takeaway. Inventory your workload and make sure that you have all the answers exhaust all other options before considering the band manager. So Was that long enough to clip this time, Cassie?
Oh, you got a long enough one last time. I just needed you to continue talking so that I could clip.
Oh,
Which
gotcha.
is great.
Don't shut up, Matt. Keep going.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to stop talking. That was the problem.
Oh my god. Anyway, Cassie, you got any other points that you want to wrap in there?
I don't think I have anything else today.
Awesome.
To add, because I think we pretty much summed that one up on a good note.
Cool. Well, yeah, like Cassie said, we will have a blog attached to this from the 11 website. You can visit that at turnup to11.com. The Stream Tribe site is primarily just our magazine right now. So focus on turnup to11.com for Stream Tribe content as well. All that stuff is in the footer. We'd love to hear any thoughts. If you want to submit content to us, send questions via the website, follow up later. We're happy to address any of those as well. So, yeah, it's been great. And we'll actually be off next week because of Memorial Day in the US, but we should be back in June. So,
yep. And the full month, every single Monday. I won't be getting sick again.
We will not have every other week off because of COVID. It'll be, I'm going to be here on my deathbed. It's that important.
Right. And I think I confirmed my schedule. I'm not going to be working on Mondays, I think. So this should be fine.
We'll make her work here instead. So.
And I'm doing evening shifts, so mornings are all yours.
Ooh, wow. This will be exhilarating.
Oh, it's going to be long days. And if I start getting tan, I'm so sorry, you guys.
Wait, what?
I work at a tanning salon. I'm learning to be the assistant manager as well as assisting with some social media marketing for my friend's company.
Gotcha.
So,
well, we'll know at the moment I look pasty white next to you that you are tanning, and then we can start to like.
Nah.
You're right. It doesn't naturally look burnt. That's my natural color is burnt.
Yep. Alrighty. So yeah, that was a fun talk today, though, and I hope anybody else that was lurking and listening enjoyed it as well. And thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Have a good one.
See you in 2 weeks.
But
Bye. Are you going to read them out? Did you want me to read them out?
oh, you can read them out. Go for it.
You, mister, don't forget that raid. Look at him,
Oh,
you guys. Oh, good thing he has me here.
Yeah. There we go. I'll throw that up.
Alrighty.
Boom.
Let's go into Golden Nose. How about that?
That sounds good.
You guys want to listen to some trance?
Hell yeah.
Golden. Wow. Why does this do this? Golden Nose. I typed it right, right? Yes, there's the Golden Nose. I hope you guys enjoy the other side. Let's raid out.
Later.
Bye. Once it's ready, 3, 2, 1. We'll just raid you now. Bye. Don't forget in here you still